I quit my job after 28 years, my day job as I called it, and I started actually in January doing the real estate full time. So I've had a little more success this year than I did in the previous 2 years, but you know, I'm still trying to build it. And most of the real estate I find is from referrals. You get clients and then they refer you, and you build it that way. And I haven't got enough yet to have a good referral system going. But we do floor duty. Where the person who's on duty in a 3-hour slots get all the incoming calls. So somebody calls in when you're on duty. That's your call, and you get to service it for whatever their needs are. So I'm still living for that big multi-million-dollar one. But I have to say, I really, really enjoy it. I love it. And I hope to be quite successful one day.
Could you see yourself selling real estate in Ireland?
I could, yep. I'm sure it's a little different, but hey, a house is a house. Yeah, why not?
Do you
Yeah.
get back to Ireland often?
No, no, not as often as I like. My mother-in-law is still alive in England. She's 90 years old. She's in very, very poor health. And we do try to get there once a year. We usually go for Mother's Day, which is in March. On the whole, it's in March. It's always the second Sunday of Lent. So, however the Easter period goes, is how Mother's Day goes over there. And we do try to go home for Mother's Day. This past several years, anyway. And we take her out and try and give her a good time. And hopefully we're going for Christmas this year, because now she cannot go. Her health is so poor she cannot go to her daughter's, who's only 3 hours away, but it's too much for her. So we're going to go for Christmas. We were hoping to go to Ireland this year, but we can't afford it, so maybe next year. Please God. Yeah.
When your children were young, were you ever able to take them back? Or
I took them back to England, but I did not, or was not able to. We couldn't afford to take them back to Ireland. England, we stay with my mother-in-law, stuff like that, so we don't have to pay for hotels and stuff. But in Ireland, we would have to do that, so we just couldn't afford it. So I would really dearly love to show them Ireland. Yeah.
did you keep Irish traditions alive in your home when they were growing up?
Uh, no, probably not. I don't know what traditions you're talking
Well, I don't. I'm not exactly sure myself.
about.
And probably religious traditions or holiday traditions.
Well, the holidays are all the same, so yeah, we celebrate all the holidays, so you can say that. I mean, they know all about Ireland. I'm always talking about Ireland. They wear green on St. Patrick's Day with pride. I think they enjoy saying I'm half Irish, but I've never gotten to take them to Ireland.
Did your daughter take step dance when she was growing up?
No, but my youngest granddaughter did. But she has a little bit of nanny in her that she wanted to be a river dancer before she learned. And she was the youngest, and she was very tiny when she was that age, and very petite. And the other children were, way ahead of her. So she kind of, if Jillian's the type of person, if she's not number one, she's not going to bother. So it was very frustrating for her. So we decided to stop and wait until she was a little older, and she just never got to go back. But she still likes to put the hands down and she struts her stuff, does the kicking. But it was cute to watch her. Yeah.
Okay. When you've gone back to England or to Ireland, what have you noticed differences?
Oh yes. Ireland has gotten so much more modern than when it was when I lived there. Yes. It the homes. I mean, They have a saying over there, gobsmacked. Well, I was gobsmacked. I was, I was amazed, yeah, at the changes. Not that I got to travel that much when we actually lived there. I didn't. But even in the time that from the first time we went back to tour ourselves to the last time we went back, I noticed big differences. Yeah, it's still lovely though.
So are the differences positive ones, not so
I
positive?
think so. I think it's all positive. I understand that more of the young people are getting well educated now and staying there and, enhancing Ireland rather than taking their talents to England and America. They're staying home and I think that's just great. I think it enriches. Yeah, I think it's wonderful.
Okay, let's see. What is your greatest accomplishment?
I think being a mom, I think so. I can't claim anything else. I haven't done anything. I haven't. I like being a mom and my grandchildren and yeah.
Okay. What are your future plans?
Oh dear. I really haven't made plans for my future. My husband is, thank God, the survivor of a heart attack. So keeping him healthy is as much of an accomplishment as I can. And, I'd like to do well at the real estate, if God willing, and, just make enough to be comfortable. That's all I want. That'd be great.
Okay. If you could return to Ireland now, where would you settle? So you told me a little bit about that. But
Oh, I'd love to be over anywhere near the cliffs of Moher, Dingle. I just find that the cliffs of Moher blew my mind. I just stood on the edge of that cliff and looked down, and it was wonderful. So I'd love to be anywhere near that. I thought that was beautiful. Um, I don't care where you are in Ireland, it's all beautiful. But if I could, on a cliff overlooking the sea somewhere. I like being near the sea. Yeah, I like. I love the sea. I love hearing the waves break. So anywhere I could be near the sea would be great with me. Yeah.
and County Laois is not near the sea, is it?
No, it's right bang in the middle. If you look on the map, it's the only, this one I remember, the only county in Ireland that's surrounded by 5 counties that don't touch the sea.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know who did the research, but I remember that. We're the only one that's surrounded by counties that don't touch the sea.
So in an island country, it really is in the center.
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
And County Laois used to be Queen's County?
yes,
Okay.
yes. And I think Offaly was King's
Yes.
County. I think it was Offaly that was King's County, but we're Queen's County. We won't talk about
Right.
that. I remember the nun said to me when I went down to say goodbye, and she says, "Make sure you marry a Catholic." And I says, "Never mind a Catholic." I said, "I'm marrying an Irishman." I didn't, and he wasn't Catholic, but he converted. My dad wouldn't let us get married unless he converted, so he did.
And were you married in church?
Oh yes, yeah, he was a Catholic before we got married. Yeah, we
I
were
didn't
married
ask.
in church.
I didn't ask you where were you married?
I was married in the army camp church. It was just a little tin hut at the time, but there wasn't too many of us. And in Larkhill, which is the army camp where my dad was stationed at the time. So my husband was doing his national service when I met him, and we got married there.
And how did you meet your husband?
Like I said, he was a soldier, and they had just built or well, actually they converted one of the Nissan, did they call them huts? Is that the name of them? They're long, flat, corrugated, whatever. And they had converted that into a skating rink, one of those, a roller skating rink. And we all used to go there because it was a big novelty, something to do. And I saw him there and kind of thought he was cute and gradually got to meet him. He's very shy and reserved, but took a while, but I got him.
And what's his name? I don't know.
His name is John Graham.
John Graham.
Yeah, no middle initial, just John.
Oh.
Yeah.
And Jon, you said?
No, he's John. My grandson-in-law is Jon.
I see.
Yeah, we have to put the emphasis on that. John. Yeah, he's a very nice man. He's always been very good to me.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, even if he is in English, but he's half Scottish now, so he's Celtic too. Yeah, his dad's from Dumfries in Scotland. Yeah, never lost his Scottish accent. Yeah, he was nice. Yeah, I liked him.
And his mother's an English woman?
His mom was from Portsmouth, where we lived, and was born and bred there, and never moved more than 10 miles from where she was born.
How did his family feel about you being Irish? Were they nice to you?
Yes. I don't think at the time they were crazy about him converting to being a Catholic, but they never really told me or said anything to me. But I know they weren't that crazy about it. But they were not particularly strong church-going people themselves, so they let him do it if it made him happy. But I never had a problem with them about it, and it worked out fine. And he's a good Catholic. We go to church every Sunday, so there was a time that we kind of wandered away. I'm sorry, my husband wondering where the heck I am.
When you lived in England, did you ever face any bias because you're Irish Catholic?
No, I have to say I didn't. Where we lived down in the south, we're right on the south coast of England, and I didn't. I have to say, I think I was more prejudiced against the English than they were against me. I found them very reserved people down in the south. The north of England, when we lived in Blackpool, I found the people to be a lot more outgoing and friendly. But down the south, it takes you a while to get to know them. But once you do, but I never had any discrimination because I was either Catholic or Irish. The troubles did break out again while I lived in England, and I have to say I never experienced any of it, which I guess is fortunate. But when I left Ireland, I did not like the English. I had no experience with them. I didn't know them, but from school and history and everything else, I just, in my heart, didn't like the English, and I wasn't going to have anything to do with them. But I was young and impressionable too. But once I got to know them and lived in England, I found them, well, they're just people like me. So, I even dated a guy from Northern Ireland, and he was Protestant, but over in England, which I, obviously, had I lived in the north, I wouldn't have been able to do. He told me a little bit about, and one of my best friends in England was from Belfast, and she's Protestant. She was actually my bridesmaid.
Wow.
And I still visit her when I go home, and we talk on the phone, and we've remained friends all these years. But it wouldn't have happened had I lived up in the north. We wouldn't have been able to be friends like that. So it was all on my part, not on their part.
interesting.
Yeah, it is. I've often thought about that, but I had a lot of good friends from, but they were over in England. Not I'd never been to the north of Ireland. The closest I got was Sligo, but I've never crossed the border. Yeah,
Think you ever will?
I don't know. It's not that I now as I'm mature, I have nothing against it. I just had no desire to go. But if I had the opportunity, probably I'd go. I'll go anywhere at the drop of a hat. I
Okay.
love traveling. Yeah.
Okay, well, as we're winding down here, what advice do you have for young Irish people who might be coming here to the United States today?
Gosh, I don't know. Just have as much education as you can. I would stress education. I think it's so important, and just to be themselves, and they'll have no problems here. It's a great community. I love the United States.
Are you a citizen?
Yes, I am. I'm proud to be Irish American.
And is there anything I haven't asked you about that you'd like to talk about?
No.
Okay, then, Carmel, thank you very
I
much.
think you know more than anybody I've ever seen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's great.